Yo, what is up, my good people? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Content Animator, and I'm here once again for another dumb as hell video. So, on today's video, we're going to be taking a look at and reviewing the new movie, The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, and Colin Farrell. So, this right here is a movie that I have been waiting for a cool minute to review. I saw it on Wednesday, but I had to wait because of technical issues to get to reviewing this. But I'm finally here to review this movie and have some fun talking about it. So, my reviews are broken down into 4 parts. I usually start with my overall expectations going in, then I talk about my positives, my mixed feelings, and then I end it all with the review score. So for the Batman, for me, man, my overall expectations going in was like a lot of people, I was heavily excited about seeing this movie. I thought that it was something that had a lot of potential, even though I wasn't sure of how I was going to feel about Robert Pattinson as the Batman. Seeing the trailers did sell me a lot. It was the second trailer for this movie that I watched a few times and really enjoyed a lot of it, especially the music and everything. I thought the music was really, really good, and I was like, yo, this has a lot of potential to it. But to start off with my overall positives going in, so as far as positives go, I want to say the cast here is really good, man. I thought they did a great job in this movie. I thought Robert Pattinson's Batman was really good here, and I thought that he did a great job of kind of having this creepy but also stoic aspect to him. There was some things I wasn't feeling too much about his character, which I'll talk about in my mixed feelings, but I thought he was good here. I thought Catwoman was good here as well. Zoe Kravitz did a really good job in a lot of her acting and a lot of what she was doing here, especially a lot of the fight scenes between her and Batman. I thought was really good, and between her and other people, she was menacing, she was sexy, and she did a really good job of just carrying this movie. Not carrying this movie, but just being a part of this movie and going along with everything else. Colin Farrell, man, you could not tell that was him if you didn't know that was him. You knew it was prosthetics that he had on because you can kind of see it, but I thought he did a good job as the Penguin, probably the best live action Penguin that we've seen. I still enjoy the guy from Gotham, the TV show, a little bit more, but or not a little bit more to say. I would say probably they're a little equal to me. I like his kind of craziness on Gotham a little bit, but here he plays him as a mob boss. He plays him very fun and very well. Um, Paul Dano as the Riddler, I thought he was really, really good, man, especially in the more crazier scenes of him in all of the suit and doing the kind of Zodiac mixed with incel type of thing here. His character was really fun to watch, and the riddles and stuff that he was doing, I thought he delivered them very well. I thought he kind of delivered this whole guy behind the camera very well. It wasn't as intimidating as Heath Ledger's Joker. It didn't give you those aspects of it. Like there was points with Heath Ledger's Joker where you would just kind of be shaking just to how his voice was going, how the music was going. But I thought this movie did a fairly good job of what they had and with what they were doing. Jeffrey Wright as Lieutenant Gordon, he probably wasn't as good as I know I'm comparing it a lot to Dark Knight. It's kind of impossible to do, but yeah, he wasn't as good as dude there. But I thought his own Lieutenant Gordon, I thought he gave it his own character. I thought it was a really good job of what he was doing. I would have loved to have gotten a little bit more with him and the Batman as far as understanding the connection, understanding their history and why they're together. But I thought for the most part they did a good job with what everything they're doing. Another positive I have here, man, the overall story, just getting a detective story in a Batman movie is seriously dope to me. We got a glimpse of it in a few other ones, like the first 89 Batman. I thought their detective story was very interesting and done pretty well, but it wasn't as good as what we got here. And I would say the same thing for the Dark Knight's detective story. I remember what we got there in the whole bullet aspect of them trying to find fingerprints and stuff like that. That was a small bit of it, but when you do something with the Riddler, you got to really dive deep into the detective and the kind of film noir aspect of everything, which is another thing I enjoyed was just the whole film noir aspect of the movie. It takes a lot of that grittiness and that griminess of something like Chinatown and stuff, but it brings it to this Batman story, which a lot of Batmans do the kind of noir aspect thing, but I thought this one did it pretty well and had a really good time with it. I also enjoyed the score here, if I didn't talk about that already. The score is probably my favorite thing in this movie. It was really creepy. It had some good, nice melodies to it. It had some really good, nice tones to it, but it was just really well done. And also, I would say probably another thing was the cinematography here. Now, I have some mixed feelings on the cinematography, but overall, the way they chose their shots, the way they did some of the lighting here, I thought was really done very well. Um, it was a lot of the way that they would just set the camera up and just let things happen. I thought was really dope here in the way they were just using a lot of aspects of this movie. Um, Also, yeah, the fight scenes here too. I thought the fighting was pretty good. There was this one hallway scene that I really, really enjoyed. Even though it was kind of in darkness, you could still tell what was going on, and it was done very, very well. There was another one towards the beginning of this movie where they were taking these aspects of that once you see the bat signal, everybody in the city is scared because they don't know what the Batman is. They don't know what he's going to do next. And if your little bitty crime could be the Batman coming after you. And he has a thing that you see in a trailer where he fights a bunch of these guys with clown makeup on. I thought that was a good fight scene. And I thought that again had a good mix of, yo, I can beat the shit out of these guys, but it is a lot of them. So I'm going to take a couple hits. I thought that was really good here. As far as my mixed feelings go with this movie, I would have to say one of the bigger ones was Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. Even though I enjoyed his Batman here and how kind of how creepy he was, I kind of, you didn't know where he was. It was always in the shadow of night, and anytime a police officer saw him, they were kind of intimidated by him. I'll say his Bruce Wayne was a little bit too emo-ish here for me. There was this whole thing with him and Alfred to where they kind of had this "you're not my father" type of relationship. I did not enjoy that at all. Even though I thought the guy playing Alfred, which is let's see who played Alfred here. Oh, Andy Serkis. I should know that, but Andy Serkis playing Alfred here. I enjoyed him as Alfred, but I did not enjoy his dialogue with Bruce Wayne and some of the decisions they made here. I didn't love a lot of the things they were doing with the character. I would also say that some of the decisions they did with Catwoman and her acting at points I didn't love. It kind of jumped a little bit too far in the film noir stuff where she was kind of had this whole darling aspect to her acting of, just that kind of 1950s style of women in these type of film noir movies. She dipped a little bit too much of that in with the dialogue and her little tones and stuff. Um I would also say that I wish Paul Dano's Riddler wasn't as crazy and as played over the top as it was at points. Um, there were some subtleties in his character that I really did like, in that when he would either get angry or when he was just really passionate about something, he would really go for it. But it did have that kind of you're peeking too much into the Joker type of craziness and not the, just timid, but also, I will pop at any moment type of craziness that you get with just the Riddler as a character. I liked the changes they made, but I would have loved to have seen them pull back a little bit on that. Another thing that I was kind of mixed on, and this kind of goes with the story, as much as I love the detective film noir aspect of it, I would say that the mystery was a little bit too simple here. I kind of guessed what was going on fairly quickly, but I did enjoy what they did with the story overall. And another thing I would say is the movie is way, way, way too long. Almost 3 hours is just they did not have enough story to tell here. And I think there was a lot of scenes that just could have been cut. Several scenes just went on for too long. There was this one end scene with the Batman on a bicycle with Catwoman on her not bicycle but a motorcycle with Catwoman on her motorcycle that they followed the whole scene. I'm like, you could have cut this, see them start on a bicycle on a motorcycle and then see them leave on a motorcycle. Like that was fairly much all you needed of that. But other than that, I enjoyed this movie a good amount. I thought there was a lot of really fun things in this movie. There were also some things that I did not enjoy. Like I would say the third act here, that third act was kind of hit and miss because it did not carry the same feel as the rest of the movie. The tone of it and the action and how over the top it was a little bit felt a little bit out of place for me at points. But I did enjoy parts of the third act. I enjoyed where it took Batman as a character and some of the things that is speculating for the next movie. I enjoyed that aspect of everything, and I really enjoyed a lot of where they were going with that. Um, I would say that as a score and as a full rating for this movie, I'm kind of at a 3.5 out of 5 for me. Maybe a little bit above that, but that's where I'm at. I would say it's probably in the realm of Batman Begins, to where I think this is a good intro for a Batman movie. I may not enjoy it everything as much as I enjoyed Batman Begins, but there are some things about Batman Begins that I outright dislike as well. So I think it's right on that level for me. It's nowhere near as good as The Dark Knight goes, which, that's a pretty high bar to compare something to, but this is still a good, fun movie, and I think a fairly competent Batman movie. Like I said, Robert Pattinson does some good things here, and if you kind of check and fix some of those things going into the next movie, I think you could have a really, really good Batman on your hands. Um, there is no end credits to this movie, but for what they speculate as what may be going to the next movie, I think you have some interesting stuff there. There is one character that we do see that I'm like, I don't want to see you in another movie. I'm kind of tired of you being that type of character in these Batman movies. I kind of had enough of you, to tell you the truth. But for the most part, this was a good movie. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see more. Or I'm interested to see more of what they do with the next Batman movie. But as for everything else, thank you for watching. This has been another Dumb as Hell review. Um, I'm going to have more stuff coming up. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I am out of here. Word up. Peace.